Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Dalcroze Meetup 2021. We have made it. I don't know how many months would this be, 9 months or something, since we began. And we have a really wonderful, loyal following, and we have new faces and friends every time we meet. This is virtual Dalcroze Meetup number 20, our free to everyone and invited to everyone meetup where we share ideas and we banter and we try to feature some guests each time around. I'd like to introduce my co-hosts, Emma Shubin of Integral Steps and Flute Fame, and Veronica Boleski in Boston, our co-hosts. So welcome to all. Veronica or Emma, do you all want to say hi?
I'll start. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited to be here in the new year. We have some exciting master classes and short courses coming up, so stay tuned for those and know that there are scholarships available out there. Dance with Dawn is beginning at the end of this month. I'll be there helping co-host that, and I'm very excited to get moving. And oh, we're just so grateful to hear some beautiful piano music today, so welcome.
Hi, I'm Veronica. I just wanted to say I put the score for Adalberto's music, 2 scores in the chat, and I also reposted the agenda. And if you just scroll down to the bottom of that agenda, you'll see those scores linked there as well.
Very good. Well, it's the new year, and we're just excited to be back and to have good colleagues from all around to continue to collaborate with. Our general format, for anybody who's new, our general format has been to just feature a couple of us, like you and me and anybody, to just share. We usually limit it to 5 minutes of a little bit of something they're either working on or thinking about or have experimented with, or some small exercise or set of ideas that has been a part of their current practice. And we try to get 2 or 3 people to share 5 minutes, and then we set aside some time to discuss. We will continue with that format moving forward most of our weeks. And so we'd like to invite all of you, seriously, every one of you, to consider offering up 5 minutes, 4 minutes, something short and sweet, something that would just say, here's a little bit of what I've been doing that is a kind of an overlap between obviously the Dalcroze methodologies and ideas and principles, and maybe virtual teaching, or maybe live in-person teaching, depending on what your situation is. But every so often, as the opportunities present, we have experimented with some different formats. Our sort of other number 2 format has been the super breakout rooms, where we come up with sort of an idea or a topic, and then we break out everybody into breakout rooms to discuss and then come back and report. And today we have a sort of a second version of the super breakout room idea. Alberto has put together some some repertoire of Jacques Dalcroze, some of his original compositions, and we've been discussing maybe he could play some of these for us. So we're going to get to hear 2 selections today, and the second of which we're going to go to breakout rooms in sort of random, a couple breakout rooms, and collaborate with each other to brainstorm possible ideas of how we might use this piece in a class. And the class could be for any age or anything. So I think that's enough of a setup. I'm going to hand it over. Veronica, do you have more to add to our introduction?
No, that was perfect.
Okay.
I'm going to repost the links because I know some people joined after I posted them, so like the chat doesn't show up retroactively. So I'm just going to be busy doing that. But Adalberto, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So 10 minutes maybe, or 5, or
No. So I'm sorry, what I meant to say was our general format has been 5 minutes
yeah.
per presenter, but on a day like today, we've actually given most all of the meetup today to Adalberto and his selections, and then our breakouts. And so Adalberto, if you have anything you want to tell us about these pieces, we are happy to hear that. And then what I think we were thinking is that you would play the pieces, and then we would think specifically and discuss in breakout rooms the second piece. We'll give each of the breakout rooms 7 minutes or or so to to talk about it, and then we'll all come back together and let each of the groups present kind of what you discussed. That's our
Yeah,
setup
okay.
for today.
Yeah, very good. So thank you for the invitation, first of all. Hello to everybody. And I maybe you already heard the first piece which I will play. It's a piece taken from very early works by Jacques Dalcroze, Skizzen Opus 10. Um, I mean, Dalcroze composed a lot of pieces for piano, all through his life. And he never, the piano was like his natural instrument, was his instrument, of course, but it was also the easiest way for him to express his musical ideas. And he also wrote big symphonic and very important works for operas, and which are completely forgotten right now. And then when the Eurythmics start to be known in Germany and all over Europe and abroad, then he stopped to compose those big works, symphonics, and what here in Switzerland is Festspiel, which means like a festival. It's a big work uh, which is some hours long, and where everybody's coming to cooperate together. You have professional musician and amateur, which all cooperate together for a special date or something which is related to the community, like official anniversary for the states or something like this. So Dalcroze wrote also music for those kind of things. And then when the Eurythmics was the main goal of his life, he reduced the composition of big works, but he never quit the piano. So in Dalcroze production, Dalcroze piano works is very interesting to say. From the very beginning and the evolution from the very beginning, you will see in this first piece with the early works are very close to the French milieu, Fauré, Massenet, those composers which are not so known like Debussy, Ravel. I mean, the big French music between the end of the 19th and beginning of 20th century. And since Jacques Dalcroze was born in Vienna, there is always this mixing culture between the French background and the German, which is very easy to find, especially in the early works. And then during his evolution, it's after the beginning of the 20th century, it's very easy to find what he was working on Eurythmics, and you will see in some pieces some different meters or everything that you find in the pieces written for Eurythmic. But what I'm speaking about is piano music, which is of course influenced by Eurythmics, but is not something written especially for Eurythmics. And then also in the 20th century was very, there are influenced by jazz and but by the old music and the cabaret, the French cabaret. The career of Jacques Dalcroze as composer starts with songs written for Le Chat Noir, which was a very famous cabaret in Paris. So looking at his music and even in small pieces, what is very interesting and original and let's say unique is an incredible big richness of ideas and how Dalcroze develops those ideas, which sometimes is very simple in with very complex harmonic patterns. And this is what we are going to see in the first piece, this Troy Merai, which is a dream. But this theme, the theme of the dream, is really very, very simple. It's really a dancing rhythm, like a berceuse. You are going to sleep. But have a look how this one measure, you have the score, I think, or you can follow with the score, how this rhythm is changing. The harmony is changing every time, and until the end, where there are very, very complex harmonies, but its piece, I think, is the best of the first 6 pieces which are taken from this Skizzen Opus 10. And but the complexity of harmony and the way in which Dalcroze is developing this very, very simple idea, it's only one measure, it's absolutely unbelievable. So I hope you will enjoy Jacques Dalcroze, Troy Merai, taken from Skizzen Opus 10.
Adalberto, can I
Yeah.
interrupt you for a second? I'm not sure that your audio settings are set well. Would you play a little bit? Would you play a little
Yes.
bit at the piano and let us just hear for a second? 2 hands? Yeah. So let's take a moment and see if we can fix your audio settings. So
I
apologies,
tried with
everyone.
something else, but I am not sure if it works, because I tried today with an external microphone, but
I don't think it's that
yeah,
actually. Your speaking voice comes through just fine. The
yeah,
are
the
you aware
piano.
of the? So apologies to everyone. I should have troubleshooted this with Adalberto before we began. Are you aware of the original sound setting?
Yes.
Is it currently set on?
Oh, yes.
So your original sound up in the top left corner says turn original sound off or turn off.
So I turn off.
It should say it should no, not your mute. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Top left corner,
Top left. Yeah.
there should be a little green shield.
Yeah.
And then what does it say beside that?
It's something about cryptography.
Okay, then I think can you just quickly go with me? Go down to the bottom left. And
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't know of these settings, you should follow along because this is Zoom
Sorry.
1. So bottom left is a mute
Yeah.
button. Click on the
Mute.
arrow beside the mute button.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom of that window, it says audio settings.
Yeah.
Click that.
And yeah, this is microphone. Just to select the microphone.
No.
No.
Beside, at the very bottom of that window,
Yeah.
it says
Yes.
audio settings.
Audio setting. Okay.
Okay. And now on the audio settings page, it should
Yeah.
say speaker at the top. Don't worry about that. Then microphone.
Yeah. Microphone enter on. Yeah.
Okay.
So
It says
I can.
automatically adjust microphone should be turned
Yes.
off.
Off. Yes, I did it.
Okay. Now go to the bottom.
Yeah.
And okay. Depends which version of Zoom you have. So below that, does it say suppress background noise?
I have in Italian, so I don't know.
Oh, we're looking for. It depends which version of
yes,
Zoom.
background. Okay, so it is automatical. So what I have to I can choose between low, medium, or height.
Low.
High. Low. Okay.
And now back up a little bit. Under microphone, it says input volume.
Yeah.
Turn it down a little.
Down. Okay.
And we'll have to play with that in a moment.
Okay.
There you go. Not all the way down, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's better. Now there should be a place where it says enable original sound. It might be on the next screen under advanced. So if you go to the very bottom, it might say advanced.
I don't know where enable.
At the very bottom of this window, does it say?
Yes, and so I have to not to deselect this one.
No, we want it selected. Enable
Yes.
original sound should be selected.
It is selected.
Okay, now then at that point, and do you have a checkbox for high fidelity music mode? It's right.
Yes, but I don't know where.
It should be right underneath enable original sound.
No. Well, microphone. No.
No. Go to the very bottom of this window.
Yeah.
Is there a advanced button? A
Yes,
thing that,
advanced. Yeah.
go ahead, click that.
Yeah.
And now,
This is about echo. Is speaking about
right?
echo.
So
It's
echo
automatical.
cancellation. You can click that.
So like I could automatically or not?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Is there another box beside that? In English, it's called high fidelity
original
music.
audio? And then this is our original audio. Do I have to select this?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the big one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now close this window.
Yes, music high fidelity. So
Yes.
I select this.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now close
Let's
this
try
window.
again. Yeah,
And
close.
at the very top left, there's a green shield.
Yes.
Now beside that, does it say something new?
Yes. Activate original audio.
Yes, we want that.
So okay. So I have to activate or
Activate.
not? Okay.
Okay, now play the piano.
Let's try again.
Let's
Yeah.
try again. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Just tell me if it is fine.
Let's go back one more time and turn up the microphone
Okay.
volume a little. So
Okay.
one more try.
So again the same.
Yeah, up, unmute yourself.
Yes.
There
sorry.
you are. Now the arrow, and then microphone volume.
And microphone in.
Yeah, and since
Okay.
yeah, now go back to the piano and play again.
Okay. Let's try.
I think we'll have to take that today. Good. Let's play.
Okay. Okay. So, Dalcroze Troimerai. Thank you, everybody.
I'm gonna have to stop. Adalberto, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
We have to stop. It's not working yet. So I apologize to everyone. We should blame this on me. I should have thought to troubleshoot this with Adalberto beforehand. I don't know what else to do except to try again. So can we just try again? Would you pull up your audio settings window? Adalberto, can you come back to the computer? Did he freeze? What do you think,
He might
Veronica?
be frozen.
We are like doubly losing here. There, Adalberto, you're back. Let's try again. I'm sorry, it's distorting terribly, and so it's not worth continuing until we would fix it.
Oh yes, I'm
So
sorry too.
let's try again.
Yeah.
No, so let's try under microphone. It says automatically adjust.
Yeah.
Let's click that back on.
Yes.
So now do select
Microphone.
that. There's under
Okay,
mic,
automatically. Yes,
do
I
collect.
did it. Yeah.
Okay. And
only this?
I don't know. And now what else? High fidelity music mode is selected.
High fidelity, yes, is selected. Yeah.
Good. And original sound is on. And
yes.
and echo cancellation is auto. That should do it.
Yeah.
Let's see if the automatic adjust
It's
microphone volume on.
on. Yeah.
Let's see if that makes a difference. Will you play a little?
Okay. Just close the window.
Yes.
Ah. Ah.
This might be a band.
Thinking too much.
Did we lose him?
I think so.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Let's try to play the piano again.
Let's try again, okay?
Very nice.
Oh,
Adalberto, the audio was definitely better than the original, but still not as
okay.
good as we would hope. Did you
Yeah.
say you have two microphones? Can you
No.
you have the microphone
Yes.
on your computer and then
This is the computer microphone. Yeah.
if you have the ability to switch to the other microphone, let's try that.
Let's try, but I don't know if it works because I tried today, but I
So
don't
that would be
hear.
same spot under the mute button.
Yeah.
It should let
let's,
you choose your other microphone.
so, okay, connect. This is working, and then let's the same with another microphone.
Yeah,
So setting
yeah.
and
Oh, no, we can't hear you. So that microphone is not coming through. All right, then you'll have to go back to the first.
now,
I can hear you.
yeah. So this is the microphone before, as before.
Very good. The
Yeah.
Chris Rose has just shared with us. Adalberto's has a recording of this same piece on Facebook, and so just as we're going to, around, here's another recording that is a higher quality. The I'd say, though, we definitely got a lot of the flavor of that piece out, even though the audio quality was not as good as as we would normally expect, or as we know that you're capable of. But let's go ahead and play the second piece, and then we can move on.
Okay. Yeah. So the second piece is a 9/8, and again, it's a very small idea which is developed with different harmonic patterns. Is the first piece belongs to the 1890 more or less, and this one is 1910. So 20 years later, but always the big spirit and very, very big in imagination of Dalcroze. And I hope that the audio will work.
Wonderful, such rich music. Um,
Yeah.
uh, so our plan, it's 2:30. We only have about 20 minutes. I'm sorry, we have a half an hour left here in our hour. And so our plan was to break out into some small groups and let people discuss what's in. Everybody should have links to the scores in the chat. We were, I think, originally thinking that we might just play with the second of the two pieces, but I don't know, unless Veronica or Emma really want to push me otherwise, I'm going to say let the group that you end up with, you can discuss what you have access to and what makes sense for you. Again, thanks to everyone for your patience with the audio. Adalberto, we have seen you perform multiple times, and even with the less than audio here, it's so obvious what an artist you are and how much care you put into your playing. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to ask Adalberto to stick around with me, not in a breakout room, and we're going to play with his audio settings some more while we send everybody else to a couple rooms. So I have about 30 of us here. How about we do, what do you think, 4 rooms? 5 rooms, something like that. All right,
That's
let's.
great. So our discussion questions are, how can you use this music for your teaching, no matter what situation you're teaching in? And maybe the questions are, what are the subjects in this piece of music, the musical subjects, and what approaches or methods or activities can you brainstorm with your friends?
Okay, so hold on, I'm almost there. Whoops.
Stephen, how much time are we sending people to?
10 minutes. Let's
10
do
minutes.
10 minutes. That should give us, we're going to do 9 minutes.
All right, so quick and dirty brainstorm.
Yeah, quick and dirty. And no one, and what I just want to add to this is that none of the groups should feel any pressure to come up with something perfect or fully formed. There's not nearly enough time for that. Instead, take these ideas of what are the subjects and what sort of methodologies, does it make you think of, what sorts of activities, and we're just looking for the loosest, quickest sort of brainstorm about possibilities. Nothing fully formed. There's not nearly enough time for that, and there's too many cooks in the kitchen for such a thing. So if you would, say hi to all your friends.
First time I'm playing in
Yeah.
Zoom.
Hey, Andrew's here. It's great to see everyone. I'm sure that wasn't nearly enough time, which is how it always is, and it's actually partly by design. We don't want to give you too much time. We want you to feel like you were just getting going, and then it was interrupted, and now it would be, of course, up to each of you to complete the lesson plan in the way that would make sense for your students. But maybe we could take a moment. We have, so Adalberto and I made some good progress. Actually, go ahead, Adalberto, just play for us, you know, 10 bars of the, of the second piece, maybe. Do you play just a little bit?
Sorry, it was cut. 10 bars of this first or the second?
Would you, the second piece, just a
The
little.
second, okay?
Yeah. So we made some good progress. It's still not as good as it should be, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Okay, so
Okay.
can we just take maybe 3 or 4 minutes each group and tell us a little bit of just what you discussed? And I want to say again, it does not have to come out as a perfect lesson plan. In fact, I would not think it would. But just what did you recognize as some opportunities, as some things that you recognized in and which piece were you working with? So group one, do you know who you are? Who was in group one? Do you know? Can you wave your hand? Anybody know? So Teo and Marlene's group. Anybody else in that group? John, Mark. Good. So would any of you, Loretta, would any of you be willing to unmute and tell us just a little bit of what you discussed? Marlene, I see you're
Yes,
unmuted.
I immediately thought of my students. I teach in an inner city, and the first piece we were working on gentle and soft and graceful movements, and this would be a perfect piece to express following the music and highlighting the dynamics so the kids could express the dynamics. And the second piece, if I was in the room, I'm teaching all virtually, but nevertheless, maybe in our seats, we would work on the tricky 9/8 tempo meter and work on where the beginning and the end of each phrase is. So that's what I thought of right away. And then there was Loretta who went deeper into the phrasing.
Loretta, do you want to comment just a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So I am fortunately teaching face to face this year with masks and 10-foot squares between all the dancers. So I teach dance. Um, the second piece with the 9/8 is something I've played with before with my dancers. I teach like a Delcros inspired eurythmics class for them. And what we've done in 9/8, which I would love to do with this piece, is I have them write on the board all the different ways you can make 9/8, 8+1, 2+7, that kind of thing. And then they create phrases based on those ideas. So movement phrases, this is all movement phrases. So they can be a longer phrase, and sometimes it's short and then long, or long and then short. So, but it all equals 9, and then they come up with some kind of choreography based on that. And in the first piece, I really felt the phrasing. And so I was just imagining, and I've used a tremoret before, Schumann's tremoret, but I don't think it wasn't this one. But I've set chairs up in the room where they've had to sit in a chair and start the phrase in the chair and then dance and move to the next chair to finish the phrase. And so, obviously, again, that would not be something that they'd get right off the bat. But after a while, it really gets into their bodies, and I love I enjoy watching them kind of climax the phrase and come down to the C. So that's always fun to
Outstanding.
have them, and they do that naturally. I don't tell them, but you can see their movement rise and fall eventually, and that's so beautiful to watch.
That's lovely. And that basic idea of here's a starting place in the room and then go away from it and then either end back where you started or end in the next place is a classic model that we've used that Dalcrozians have used for years and years. And we could take another day to talk about all the ways that that's
That's so
awesome and
cool.
fun
Yeah.
and what it affords. Thank you so much, Loretta and Marlene and everybody in group one. How about group two? Do we have a couple? Who was in group two? Can you wave? Who was in group two? Just so that the other group twoers might know who they were. Francoise, who was in Francoise's group? Catherine, Sandra, Anna. Would any of you be willing to unmute and tell us a little bit of what you discussed? Come on.
Sandra, I do.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. The first thing that struck us was the extremely rich chromatic harmony of Tromerai and how it's so incredible. It's as if Dalcroze is just seeing how far he can go. You sort of think, oh, he just reveled in this going to remote keys, doing surprise harmonies. I mean, it's all calm. It's all in the dream world. But I mean, one can't help think of Wagner, I suppose, with some of his harmonies. But we were sort of, that was the big feature of that. But we also talked about the Danse Romande and the 9/8, the little phrases and fragments of phrases. If we were to use it in a class, of course, it's terribly fast. But there's some really interesting rhythmic ideas, and compositionally, I think there's so much in the terms of his use of motifs and what he does with them, and the contrast is full of contrast. So I suppose we were really struck by them as compositions, the richness of the compositions. But some of the others in my group might have did have some movement ideas. Like with 9/8, you've got the groupings of three, starting on one foot and going in one bar, and then if you go to the next bar, you're on the other foot. So you've got this play. It's very cheeky in character. So.
Very good. Anybody else from group two want to add a little? Alice? You'll have to unmute, Alice.
Is that better?
Yes.
At the very end, we didn't have enough time to go into it. I just wondered to what extent he would have ever expected people to move or to choreograph his own compositions. Because, as people pointed out, it was quite fast for skipping. Even for little children, it would have been quite fast for that kind of movement. So I just wondered, since he likes to choreograph other composers' music to an extent that I think Debussy was very harsh with him. They had some very unkind word to say about Dalcroze. To what extent were his own compositions potential for choreography?
I'm not at all the expert here on that answer. I do know that he wrote many things specifically with movement, even instructions. So there are many pieces that were written specifically for movement exercises with instructions written in. Adalberto or Selma or Sandra, does anybody else want to tell us a little bit about
Yes.
the placement of these versus others?
For class use, and this is what Stephen was just referring to, the esquisse, short piece, sketches. ideal for class use because they're short and
Ah,
a range of tempi and often featuring a particular rhythmic idea. So in his book Plastique Animé, he actually refers to Esquisse number 20 or number 17, and he outlines the kind of movement he wants. So he's really searching for the link between music and movement. But he had the beautiful designs of Tevenas for the to try and show the crescendo or the diminuendo, you know, to try and show strength. I think the drawings were terrific for that. And so those are more closely connected with the actual teaching of the eurythmics, the little esquisse,
oh,
rather that I feel these are to play and to enjoy and to perform for a small audience. It's quite intimate style of music, you know. So if you would imagine it being played in a salon or something, you know, in
Oh,
somebody's
yes,
nice home. Yeah.
Very
absolutely.
good.
This, yeah, this is music not written for Eurythmics, but clearly influenced by. So there are piano pieces first. Then, of course, you can see all the relationship with them. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a great question, Alice, and
mm,
which is not to say that they couldn't be used in a class. Just as we're demonstrating now, there are certainly, I mean, like anything could be used in a class, and the question is just what does it lend itself to? And so, even if we find a piece with a skipping rhythm, but the tempo is too fast to skip, maybe we either skip with our hands on our knees, or we don't use the full body skip in that case, and we skip. We recognize that it's a skipping rhythm, but we perform it
oh,
in the big body in some other way that that would meet. Good. We should keep on going. We're getting close to time. Group three. Who can you wave if you were in group three? Who was that? Do you know who you are? Anyone? Laura and Veronica. Who was in Veronica's class? And Andrew. Good. Rebecca. Oh, what a powerhouse group. Which of you would like to unmute and tell us a little bit of what you discussed? Looks like
I
Laura.
could start with what I remember, and then other people could definitely fill in. I said that I'm familiar with Middle Eastern rhythms, and 9 is very popular as 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. And so I was thinking about the person who was talking about the kids coming up with different ways of accenting within 9. But this way, I thought was really interesting, and I saw it definitely. I work with very young kids, so I saw it as a skipping kind of thing. I think, it could be a tiny bit slower if the kids couldn't keep up with this tempo, but the feel of it just so invites skipping to me. And I just thought of this now that, like, if you're going right, left, right, then you'd be going on the next measure, left, right, left. It could be that kids would get some kind of strength in their other side, which if they're right-handed, they would get more strength with their left side. I don't know, because it's in 3, because the feel of it is in 3. I don't know if that would happen. And as I remember, someone else said, and this, Andrew, you'd have to clarify this. I know you were talking about the complementariness of the two parts, that the bass fills in at the spaces of the top part, and the top part fills in the spaces of the bottom part. And then you had an idea, which I was going to ask before, and then the meeting was over. Were you saying something about, like, one, you could be working partners, and the top part could be doing what the top part is playing or what you would hear, and the bottom part would be doing something from the bottom part, and the two parts would kind of fit like a puzzle together, like a jigsaw puzzle?
Andrew,
Where
you
are
want to
you?
you want to
Yeah.
fill in a little bit, and then we'll have to go to the last group.
Sure. Yeah. I was using all sorts of words like lolloping and gambling and all the kind of little animals, maybe lambs or sheep leaping over things. And then we talked about the idea of kind of treble and bass, so that we could have partners who one represents treble, the other represents bass. And of course, then there's the lateral thing of actually playing it on the two sides of the body at the keyboard. And then the challenge of actually trying to do both at once, so the polyrhythm between the two hands. Yeah.
Excellent. I have to say, and actually looking at the room here, most everybody here are tenured teachers who have been in these discussions for quite some time. But for any friends who might be watching the recording after the fact, who are maybe new to this work, I just want to let you know that a lot of people spend a lot of years being able to be sort of flexible with these kinds of ideas, or how being able to recognize opportunities in a score. It isn't obvious. It's not something that we just all, of course, can see. It's a lot of years of sort of being both a student and a teacher and experimenting in the room that makes these kinds of ideas able to sort of seem clear to the to the people who are talking right now. I want to tell everybody, we kind of cut you off, as was our nature. You didn't get to finish your conversation with the others. The Facebook group might be a good place to continue some of the conversations if you have a tell me what you were meaning about that thing. Last group 4. We've got 5 minutes to wrap up today. Mary, Price O'Connor, and Kay, and who else is in there? Who else was in their group? Christine and Chris and Jeanette. So would any of you like to unmute and tell us a little bit of what you discussed?
Shall I go first, Mary? So we actually we looked at the second piece, and we just found so much in it. So we didn't think so much about particular Dalcroze exercises, but we noticed some of the same things that other people have. The right hand, left hand, the galloping, accents, the different use of the ya da da, the rhythm, and the range. On the piano, sometimes it's kind of in the middle, sometimes the hands are wide apart. So there's what else, Mary? There's other things, weren't there, as well?
The character of it and how you might adapt it for early years. Was that what Christine, I think, mentioned that? But I really felt that the way it travels across, it really travels in space. So there's that sense of direction. Where are we going to? But also, it's a real sense of tension and release. There's a little bit where it's kind of waiting, then we go off again, and kind of waiting here, and then we go off somewhere else, and then so that lends itself to something else. So if I was to use it with younger children, I might ask them what they think it's about, and then to find the story that they feel through movement. Anyone else?
You mentioned the anacrusis also.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about that, Christine?
No, I don't want to talk about it. I just remember that we mentioned it.
Yeah, the anacrusis, the nature of the anacrusis and the crucis, and loads, tons.
Outstanding.
To jump into it under the crucis from that. Yeah.
Very, very good. Well, I think for all the little frictions that we found in today's hour, I think a whole lot came out of this. Adalberto, we would like to thank you again for playing for us and for taking time. I think we'll have to have Adalberto back for a future VDM where he could share a little bit more repertoire with us. This actually came off, I think, just quite well, even with the audio troubles there at the beginning. And thank you for everybody in the brainstorming groups. I'll say again, it's very eyes open that we put you into breakout rooms and then gave you not enough time for the conversation. We're very well aware of that and what that means. What it hopefully means, though, is that you got a couple ideas that got you thinking, and then the task, of course, is to then complete the ideas as you would. For anyone live in the talk now, or anybody who would watch the video after the fact, you're quite encouraged to take any little bit of inspiration that came out of the conversation today and ask for more brainstorming or suggest more brainstorming in the Facebook group. That seems like the perfect place where something could continue. And so someone, I'm sorry, I forget who, it was Laura said to Andrew, you began that idea, Andrew, you said a couple things, I'm not quite sure how to finish it. The Facebook group might be a good place to sort of ask the question anew and then let Andrew and the rest of the community sort of continue. And so I just encourage all of you to consider making use of that. We don't have to, but it's there, and we might experiment with it. And otherwise, thank you all so much.
Hold on,
before we're done, Dawn is here, right? Veronica, do you want to go ahead? I'll let Veronica introduce Dawn again, and then Dawn will hopefully say hi.
Dawn, the fabulous Dawn Pratzen, is leading a class starting on January 31st. There'll be 6 sessions of virtual dance with Dawn, and she's here to tell you all about it.
Hi, Alberto.
Hi,
Hi,
Dawn.
everybody. Nice to see everybody. I'm so excited to be teaching because teaching helps me learn more and it helps me stay well and in shape. And so it's a movement class that will have somatic practice and improvisation and some technique and some body technique. A lot of Bob-on space stuff. I've been playing with some interesting kind of brain teasers around space, which has been fun to play around with. So it'll be on Sundays at 2, 3 weeks and then a break, 3 weeks and the break. The VDM and Integral Steps have been very gracious in sponsoring this, which is I really appreciate that. And Adalberto, I'm sorry I couldn't really pay attention to what you were doing. My piano, we just bought a house, we bought a condo in Massachusetts, and my piano just arrived. Just so it was a big deal to welcome the piano to our new condominium, and very
Excellent.
Great.
Apologize for not
Thank
being there.
you. Thank you
We
so
want
much.
to encourage everybody to consider signing up for Dawn's class. It'll be on Sundays at the same time as this VDM was today. So whatever your home time zone is, it would be on Sundays on the East Coast of North America, which is Tuesday for some of you. But it'll be on Sundays or Mondays, depending on which time zone you're in at this time. So
I'm so impressed with you guys' your ability to kind of think so globally when you advertise these things.
we have such a great community. We have Australia and Italy and England and Canada. I mean, we have quite a crowd here today, and so
also,
I think that's good.
I was just going to say that I have a friend in South Africa who was complaining about the time. It's
Well,
like you can't be perfect, I guess. You know?
well, we alternate our times so that every other VDM you should be able to make it without having to stay up until 2 in the morning or 6 in the morning or something. So at least every other one should work for everybody around the globe. Veronica or Emma, do you want to sign us off?
Well, we also have the fabulous Francoise here, and she is our first masterclass teacher. And that class is even sooner than Dawn's class. That class is not this weekend, but next weekend on a Sunday or a Monday, depending on where you live. So we hope to see you at Francoise's class. Francoise, do you want to tell us in a sentence what your class will be about?
Oh, no, not yet.
Not yet. Stay tuned.
No. Well, I have my ideas, but it's going to be very much on music, integrating music in the body, but also through listening and all of those things, you know, the things I like to do.
Yeah. If you've not taken a class with Francoise before, it'll be a real treat. She has her own spin and her own sort of way of getting into these ideas. It's very exciting and really interesting. I encourage all of you to register for her class. We're very excited to be hosting her in our beginning of 2021 classes. We are 3 minutes over, which is not our way. We try really hard to start on time and end on time. So everyone, thank you so much. Happy New Year. Come to Francoise's class, come to Dawn's class, and we'll see you at the next meetup. Have a very good rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody. Good to see you.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Nice seeing everyone.
Great.